if you can do something that creates 80% of the output with only 20% of the input, that's the path forward.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the HighLevel Spotlight Sessions, where we showcase awesome marketers doing awesome marketing. Today, I am joined by Austin Distel. He is the CMO of Jarvis, which has caught a lot of attention for a lot of folks. Austin, thank you so much for coming on to chat about what you guys have going on.
Yeah, excited too. It's a cool collaboration to figure out how Jarvis and HighLevel work together to write content by AI, but also to automate that so it reaches as many people as possible. And I think we have some cool examples to run through, and
Totally
here to provide a lot of value on today's call.
So let's give a little background. We had a great South by Southwest, and it was fun because I feel like we had a lot of activity at our booth, but we also heard a lot of chatter about Jarvis. It was probably one of the other things that, the top most talked about things at the conference. And so I was really excited to connect with you a couple of weeks ago. Basically, in a nutshell, what is Jarvis? What's the elevator pitch?
Yeah, so it's an AI copywriting tool that can do everything from writing your Facebook ads to long form blog posts that are SEO optimized. And by the way, it's always original content, plagiarism free. And we've trained it based on our years of working in marketing on the best performing examples of here's high converting Facebook ads. Here's the email subject lines that get opened. And so it's trained on the best marketing out there. And so that's why Jarvis performs so well. It still has that very natural tone. So yes, while it's a robot, it's actually been trained on human language after reading most of the public internet, like over 3 billion articles. And so it understands human language, has a knowledge about a lot of stuff. And now it's trained on how to do marketing really well for you.
So I have to say, when Jarvis first hit my radar, I was like, man, AI, we love AI, so we use AI in some of our automations and stuff. And we have this thing that conversationally we'll book an appointment. But we know that it falls down all the time, right? It's great when it works great, but when it does, there are a lot of times when a human needs to step in. And so I was like, oh, Jarvis, that sounds amazing, but come on, how good could it really be? And then I actually saw it and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And then we connected and we did a webinar together. And I was really blown away at how good it is. Has it been that good from the beginning, or do you feel like does it get better and better as it goes?
We have somebody dedicated full time to every day receiving the feedback we have over 50 different skills. So each skill is kind of independent of each other. The Facebook ad skill is different than the email subject line skill. And so we work really closely with the community, but we also have somebody dedicated full time to feeding Jarvis better examples and optimizing the formulas. And so it is getting better every day. And we're farther along, certainly than we used to than we started. We started only with short form copywriting, like old school principles like AIDA. If you're a copywriter, you would know what that is, or PAS, which is problem, agitate, solution. And these are formulas that, David Ogilvy back in the day used to use. So they're time tested and true. And so Jarvis understands these now and is really good at writing some hooks. If you're looking for some creative ideas on how to pitch your business, or let's say you're trying to onboard a new client. I know we have a lot of agencies that are probably listening, and getting to know your clients' needs and how to frame them, position them, and all the different angles that you can go with, because there's probably 3 angles that most of the market uses, but there's probably 10 different ones that you could go with. Jarvis is so good at sparking new ideas for you. So yeah, I think that's how a lot of agencies are using Jarvis as well, is ideation.
See, that's a great point, right? And I feel like this will put a lot of people's minds at ease who are listening to this and thinking like I was like, yeah, but come on. Here's the thing. It's like me personally, a lot of times it'll be like towards the end of the day, I've done a million things already. My brain is totally fried. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I have to like come up with a title for somebody, or I have to like, somebody needs help with like a social media post copy or something. And you're just like, oh man, it's the last thing that you want to do. Like your creative juice is just done for the day. Jarvis will get you, if it doesn't give you something that you straight up just copy and use, it gets you like 90% or 80%. And you're just like, oh, great idea. Tweak 2 words. And that's what you end up using. And I saw in the webinar, the same thing is true for long form. Like it really gets you, like, I would personally say I would use 60-70% of what it spit out and then just tweak the rest, but it would save me so much time. And so it's really interesting as an ideation tool, as something that basically, you know, you sit down to a blank page and a lot of times, you know, the writer's block is real. This can really jumpstart you. Like you said, some people even use it to write creative things, right? Like nonfiction type of stories,
Yeah,
which
it's
is
really
wild.
good at writing those nonfiction stories. And something that's like really unique about our AI is its ability to read farther back than any others. So that means that it can understand the storyline and the context, um, really, really well. It'll read like multiple pages back, 3,000 characters back. So it can stick along the storyline. It
Mhm.
understands, like we just did a training with the hero's journey, on the hero's journey, the 12 steps that, Star Wars films are based on, to
I love
many
the hero's
Marvel
journey.
movies and Lord of the Rings. It goes on. Like there's so many that follow this pattern. But it's like in the old world, a normal guy encounters a problem, he defies the call to action, he meets a mentor, and all these things. And so it actually is following along that storyline and helping build it out. Whereas like it knows the back, it helps you create color to a backstory.
Hmm.
And so I like how Darby in the last training last week, talks about how like this should be also your customer avatar. Like the hero's journey, if your customer is the hero, you can add a lot of color to your customer or to your client's customer. It's like, let's say that you're selling a window tinting business and your hero could be a kid that just got his brand new Corvette,
Hmm.
and he's trying to look cool. And it's like the hero's journey of going from like kid without a car to a kid with a Corvette. Now he finally got the window tinting that he always wanted, and guess what? That's your client's name. So
Yeah.
just like it can really go in these creative ways. But I love how Jarvis um, helps you finish that first draft like 5 times faster, literally. So if
Yes.
you are a follower of the Pareto principle, the 80-20 law, where you should, if you can do something that creates 80% of the output with only 20% of the input, that's the path forward. And so, I mean, heck, if this helps you get your first draft done in 1 hour instead of 5 hours, uh, that's great. That's good news for you. That
Totally. The
also
other,
means as an agency is now you can increase your bandwidth because you now are able to take on 5 times as many projects, or it means that you can take on a few more projects but also have some extra free time.
yeah. And one of the examples that we talked about in our other webinar that I absolutely love is I'm always shocked at how many marketers I meet that don't have long-term nurture sequences built out for their clients.
Mm.
And so what I mean by this is if you market for a niche, right? So like the example I give is the agency that I used to run, we used to market in the med spa niche. So every new client we get was another med spa. So we know that they all basically sell the same services, right? And it's just a variation of which provider that they use, right? They all do some sort of body sculpting, whether it's cool sculpting, sculpture, or whatever it is. They all do Botox. They all do this. They all do that. It was so easy to create a year's worth of emails
Mm.
based on all those things, like Botox in the news, celebrity that loves Botox. Did you see that this celebrity just got cool sculpting? Did da 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 da. Build that out And now I have it for every client. And so any lead that comes in that doesn't close right away, you dump them in the long-term nurture and they get emails all year long. Clients love it. Agencies don't do it because they don't want to go write all that content. Well, now all of a sudden you take Jarvis and you're like, hey, I need whatever about Botox or whatever, and it will spit out the, 90% of what you need. You tweak it and you're done. Man, my mind was just running. Like, you could go spin up a business with Jarvis, just creating the 12-month nurture content packets for agencies and make a fortune. I was just blown away.
Yeah. There's a huge part of our customer base, which is an SEO audience, the SEO ninjas out there that themselves are really good at creating a Google My Business listing. They're really good at creating SEO content, long form content for your blog. And they're using Jarvis to pump out that stuff faster. But also, we have an integration with Surfer SEO, which is a really great tool. I think you all use them, right?
Yeah.
Where, it tells you what keywords you need to include to outrank your competitors. So with Jarvis and Surfer combined, you can write long form content that is SEO optimized. And then we teamed up with Grammarly. So now you get Grammarly Basic inside of Jarvis.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And now there's Copyscape inside of Jarvis, where you can scan your entire document for any sources that you might need to cite. So you don't have plagiarism. 99% of the time, it's plagiarism free. The 1% of the time that it isn't, it's often just commonly used vocabulary. So you don't have to really worry about that, but it's more there for your ease of mind. And, it's really starting to become this robust, like, content creating machine, where if I were to recommend, somebody listening right now that's like, new in their agency life, man, I think that you can whip up a good 6-figure business writing content that's SEO optimized for your clients. And, you still niche down, but you can go out and, like, let's say you focus on SaaS companies. You can literally write, sell them a package of, like, let's say you get 5 blog posts a month that have a 70% Surfer score or higher. And, targeting the keywords desired to outrank your competitors for a $2,000 package for 5 articles. And I know that this is going to work because we actually just launched that this week of, like, Jarvis certified writers. And we're selling it ourselves just to see how that system works. And maybe we'll create a certification around that, for agencies to offer this themselves. But for right now, we're actually training team of Filipino writers to be Jarvis certified, understand the goal of getting 70% Surfer score, and selling, a 5-pack articles for $2,000. And it's a huge win for the client because they get this content fast, week-long deliverable. And so I'm just sharing this out loud because I know we have a lot of agencies listening, and I believe that's a huge opportunity. I believe this is where the market's going, and it's something you can bolt onto your business very quickly.
Totally. And what's really interesting? I was having a similar conversation a couple of weeks ago. The old school SEO packages were, we're going to deliver X amount of 500-word blog posts per month. And, so many businesses bought those packages because back then it had value, arguably. But over time, I think the industry sort of evolved and realized this low quality, shallow content isn't doing anything for anybody. So we moved past it. But the point is, there are so many business websites that are still full of all of that content. So with a tool like Jarvis and Surfer, you could go look at a site, grab one of those crappy posts, throw it in the tool, screenshot the score, go right back to the owner and be like, hey, all these blog posts on your site are hurting you. Look at the scores of these in a modern SEO tool. How about we go rewrite them all for you, and we guarantee that they'll all score really high? Like you could literally say like, okay, you have, 500 posts on your site. How about we do 10 a month at
Yeah,
this price or whatever? And you're literally like just using AI to basically write the content. Maybe you're tweaking a couple of things here and there, but you're delivering content that is scored by a third party as great. I mean, it's an amazing business opportunity.
totally. The goal is clear. The value is clear. It's really easy for anyone from any language, any country to understand what to achieve. Right. And I think that's the really hard part about, overall marketing, is that like, there's such a long timeline between like, if you have a Filipino, let's say, writing your clients' Facebook ads for you, you have to figure out, you have to get those deployed and then wait for the leads to come in, just to see if that copywriter did good work. And it's not always just up to the copywriter. It's also up to the audiences and the algorithm and so many other things. Whereas this, like, you write good content that is prepared to score high in ranking. The deliverable is clear. It's an article, 70% or higher, on brand, that, you can pull on. Like, we, on our last call, we wrote an article about Invisalign versus braces for a local Austin dentist.
Can we do that again? Let's do. I was just gonna say, let's actually walk this through. Let's say you went to a
Yeah.
dentist's website, you saw they had a bunch of crappy old blog posts on there, and you're like, oh, hey, Dr. Bob, I saw that you had an article on your site about Invisalign versus braces. And it was like a 400 something word article. I ran it through this modern tool that scores SEO content, and it scored at 10%, which is obviously not great, right? And so, we actually went and rewrote it for you. And I'd love to show you the score of our piece. As you can see, it's a 95. Would you like us to go through more of your content? If that's a great pitch, right? But let's actually look at how you could spin up the article using Jarvis.
Yeah, for sure. So, what I'll run through quickly, and if you're listening to this somewhere, maybe you should hop over to YouTube and take a look at this, or in the Facebook group, or wherever else this is being streamed, because I think when you see it, like, seeing is believing, and I want you to follow along here.
Yeah, for sure. Just head over to the Go High Level page on YouTube if you're listening on a podcast.
Cool. So just to give you some layout of the land, starter gets you access to these 50 different skills. Each skill has been trained on really good examples. So, for example, the Facebook ad headline, we taught it based on our highest converting Facebook ad headlines. And Jarvis follows the pattern for your brand. So you would put your brand stuff in here, like your company name or your client's name, some bullet points. Don't try and be persuasive here. You just, write it out. So I'll do this one real quick. I'm drinking. This is Texas Rambler lemon lime sparkling water. Water. It is lemon lime sparkling. All right, so super simple. And let's say that this is like so they're part of the Austin, Texas Parks Wildlife Foundation. So that donates to the Parks and Rec. So here, okay, tone of voice.
This is fun.
Okay.
Because not only can you use adjectives, right, but you can also use like celebrities.
Let's go. He just moved here to Austin, Joe Rogan. And since Jarvis has read some Joe Rogan stuff in the world, I'm sure, then it probably has an idea of who that is. We're going to try and tie Joe Rogan in. Might take a few times, but let's do it. I could do examples here, but I'm not going to do this time. So again, we're trying to get Facebook ad headlines here. Joe Rogan endorses Texas Rambler, everyone's favorite lemon lime sparkling water. Damn right you'll like Texas Rambler. That definitely sounds like Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so you can see here, like, these are great ideas, and A/B test them. This same idea applies to all of these different templates. So from video YouTube titles to, let's say that you want to respond to the reviews on your client's page. If they're you said that you were, marketing to med spas. Chase, is it important to respond to the Google reviews on their Google My Business?
I mean, every business should be replying to their reviews, but especially critical in the health related fields, because people are obviously very concerned about things that involve their health. And if you get a negative reply, it's doubly important to address it in public.
All right, so I'm doing this live, so all things could go wrong, but let's have faith. I'm here looking up random Austin, Texas med spas. Can we find any bad reviews here? Oh, they're doing pretty good. No bad reviews. Let's find a bad review. I just want to showcase. Okay, this one has some bad reviews.
There we go.
Okay. This poor person called, no answer, even hung up. So we're going to go over here, and
so putting in the name, Austin, Texas Med Spa. Now we were going to throw in the reviewer's name. Give it
let's call it Joshua. I don't know who MBA is, but
yeah.
Joshua. Can you spell that guy's name? Probably not.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So it was a 1-star review. Tone of voice, we can do empathetic. I'm awful at spelling, so that's why I need this. All right. So we just literally type in the customer review here and ask Jarvis to please reply to this review in an empathetic tone. Likely Jarvis is going to call them out by name and, recognize it's a 1-star rating. So they need to be careful here. It needs to
be. At the bottom, you put in 5. You told it you want 5 options, right? So it's going to spit out 5.
Yep. So it's looking at the context here of what the review was, and that it was a 1-star. So let's read here a few, and you can always choose, which one you like the most. I'm just going to read the first one. Thanks for your review. We apologize for your inconvenience of not being able to contact a live person at our spa during your call. Our phone number has been updated on Google, and we'll be following up with you as soon as possible about this issue. Very clean cut. I think what's good about a good review is it recognizes where the company failed, and also that the feedback was listened to. And so they try to fix the problem that was pointed out. And so that was their phone was disconnected or something like that. Right.
Totally. That was awesome. I would copy that. I would go make sure that the phone number has been updated in Google, and then I would paste that right in there.
Yeah. So, I mean, imagine how long it takes to respond to all of those reviews. But with Jarvis, that took 1 minute?
Yeah. Even the next one's really good.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's some good ones in here. I like how this one, call out, hi, Joshua. Thank you for review. And I apologize that our phone line was not working. We have since fixed the issue. Yeah. So that's what you get on Starter. It's like $29 a month. I'm sure. Actually, I think if you guys go to Jarvis.ai/HighLevel, then you end up getting 10,000 credits for free. I think we set up that partnership with y'all. So
amazing.
Yeah, let's hook everyone up and get in here and play around for free.
So before we move on to the blog post, I want to point out what you just showed us has my mind thinking, man, if I have, remote employees on staff, let's say I have some VAs in the Philippines or whatever, I would love to provide a review response service, but I would be a little worried about the English as a second language. Well, you arm a VA with this, and now you're confident that they're going to be able to create fantastic replies, and you're geo arbitraging, the pricing of it. Anything that revolves around a VA, I feel like this is an incredible tool for them to use to make sure that we're not falling down on the language side.
For sure. And, we know that these days and age, it's a global world. So we actually now support 26 different languages, and you can choose the input language. So let's say, they are French, and the client though is German. You can write in French and Jarvis will output in German, or vice versa, whatever it is. But I'm going to go back to English and English.
That's wild.
Cool. So yeah, that's starter. Great way, obviously, to get started. This is all short copywriting. So when you think starter, think copywriting. Now let's travel into boss mode. And this is where you get access to like documents, and we'll do a blog post. And can we continue with the med spa idea?
Yeah, sure. Let's do cool sculpting versus, I think, sculpture is a popular one.
Okay. So I've never written about cool sculpting before. But let's just go with it. So we're going to put in some information just so Jarvis has context, because right now all it knows is the public internet. So now we have to say, narrow your focus down onto this subject. And we're just talking directly to it. There's no formula here. All right. So, what we'll do is, write a blog post about an Austin, Texas med spa that offers cool sculpting. Is that what you say?
Yeah.
Cool sculpting. Oh, I guess it's one word these days.
Yeah.
All right. Cool sculpting. We'll just say Austin, Texas med. And I'm going to go over to their website to get some of the more of the copy about this. Services.
So it looks like they do ultra shape instead of cool sculpting.
Ultra shape. That's that?
I would assume so.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Okay, so here we go. We're just going to give Jarvis some information, and it's going to be reading this every time that it goes through. So you have 600 characters to talk about it. And that offers ultra shape. It doesn't have to be perfect here. All right. This is just to give Jarvis context. We definitely want to rank for Austin med spa. And we want to rank for ultra shape. And cool sculpting is maybe another commonly used word. So you might want to have even part of the article be like ultra shape versus cool sculpting. All right. So there's our 3. Now it's coming to the end of my day, and my coffee has run out, and so have my ideas. So I'm going to ask Jarvis to generate some ideas for the title of this blog post.
That's cool.
All right. Meet Ultrascape shape, a better body with no pain or recovery time. I like that. Very first headline's good.
That's pretty
Austin, good. Let's see. The ultimate body shaping procedure. You guys see all these are really good blog post titles.
Yeah.
I like the first one though. Let's roll with it. And same for the intro paragraph. And sometimes with intro paragraphs, you want to introduce the client, you want to introduce or yourself, and how you came upon writing this article. But for now, we'll just ask Jarvis to generate some ideas for us to get the ball rolling.
What do you got, Jarvis?
With Austin's Med Spa Ultra Shape, you can get the body of your dreams without surgery. Unlike other fat reduction procedures that use heat or freeze fat, ultra shape is painless and leaves no visible signs of treatment. All right, so we'll go run with this for now. All right. Cool. So welcome to Jarvis Docs. Imagine it's like Google Docs, but with superpowers. And, we have the context here on the left that we just kind of filled out. That tone of voice is here too. And at any point in time that we don't want Jarvis to read this, maybe we want to go on a tangent, we can just toggle these on and off, right? Now, let's start building out visually what this looks like. So here's our H1. And now we need to create an outline for our blog post. And so we actually created this outline, blog post outline. Here's this. And let's see, I think educated is a good tone of voice here. We want our cool sculpting artists to be educated.
Mm-hmm.
I also think luxury. I don't think.
Ooh.
Yeah. So this does pretty well. Often luxury and romance and those kind of things work well for selling higher ticket products, consumer products. So here we go. These are just ideas. You can mix and match these. Remember that like Jarvis is your assistant. So just as you would vet any other assistants like work, you should do that too. You want to make sure it's factually correct. You want to make sure that, it's on brand, but this is getting you 80% of the way there, right?
Yeah,
I think this does a good job.
So this basically spits out the framework ideas. And so these look great. Like what is ultra shape? Like if we go back up to that first one was pretty good. What is ultra shape? How does it work? Why should I choose ultra shape over other options? Who can use it? Is there any pain? That's pretty legit.
Nailed it, right? All right, so let's go back to focus mode here. And if these are going to be our H2s, we can go ahead and start building that out. Okay, cool. So now that we're in Jarvis Docs and I have my cursor here, what I'm about to do is ask Jarvis to write a paragraph about, this here, what is ultra shape, reading the past 3,000 characters above and all of this. So let's see if this works here. Write a paragraph about ultra shape and the benefits to your body. Okay. So that was a Jarvis command. We're asking the AI directly to write about the subject. Okay, so that was the command. Austin, Texas, premier destination for wellness and beauty. Austin's Med Spa offers Ultra Shape, the first and only FDA cleared non-invasive body sculpting procedure. So I would go back through and make sure it is FDA approved whenever we're making claims. Jarvis is more of a creative writing assistant. So while it has read all of these articles, it's actually not pulling from any one specific source. And so here's a quiz for the audience that probably nobody will get right. How many words at a time does Jarvis write? Do you know this answer, Chase?
I do not.
Do you think that it is a paragraph at a time, a sentence at a time, or a word at a time?
I would probably guess a sentence at a time.
Yeah. So I think, it would copy and paste that or write that at any one point in time. What it actually does is every single word is predicted based on the last 3,000 words to create totally original content, and so, hey, today for lunch, I want to go eat. Now your all's brains, everybody listening, a couple thousand people had a couple thousand different ideas of how I was going to finish that sentence just now.
Right.
And there's a probability that, a quarter of y'all thought Chick-fil-A, and then the rest thought of all your other ideas. Well, let's say Chick-fil-A was like, the highest probability, then it might have come up next. If, watch this, today for lunch, I'm going to eat, and I'm going to ask Jarvis, finish the rest of my sentence here. A salad for dinner, and then go to the gym after work. All right. So, and then it continue the thought, right? So just so you get an idea of how Jarvis can be used, one, I could ask it command, or I could ask it to read above and continue. So watch this. I'm going to click Command J, or I can go down to this button, and it's just going to continue this pattern. Jarvis loves patterns, right? So let's see.
So I think this is a good example, like the first paragraph that it spit out. The H2 is what is ultra shape, and it spit out the first sentence I probably wouldn't keep. Austin, Texas is a premier destination for wellness and beauty services. That doesn't really jive with what is ultra shape, but then everything after looks good. Austin Med Spa offers ultra shape, the first and only FDA cleared non-invasive body shaping procedure that uses focused pulsed ultrasound for selective fat destruction. That's a pretty good definition of what is ultra shape, right? Yeah. So a great example of like, was it 100%? No. Was it 90? Yeah. And now you just told it to continue. Yep. So it spit out, it's not like anything out there. Unlike liposuction, ultra shape is non-invasive, which means no incisions, da, 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 da. Yep. I mean, it's all great.
Yeah, exactly. So now you can see like the speed at which we're building an article. We're only maybe 10 minutes into this article and have a good outline. Now, do we know if this outline, the content that we're writing right now is actually optimized for search? Well, then we activate SEO mode. So this is, you have to have a Surfer account as well, but it pulls in right here within Jarvis. And what we'll do is ask it to, what are the keywords that we want to rank for? Austin Med Spa, ultra shape, cool sculpting, and let's say just those three for now, right? Mm-hmm. So now Surfer is using its AI to figure out what are the other companies that rank for the other articles that rank for these keywords. What are they including as well that helps them get to the top of search results?
Yeah. How do they correlate?
Yeah.
Essentially.
So it's kind of building this map of words necessary to win that you must include in this article. And especially ones that were like included in your H1s, 2s, and 3s. How many images you need, things like that.
How many words, etc. Yeah.
Yeah. So it does normally take like 2 minutes or so. So in the meantime, you want to think about yourself instead of being a content writer these days. Give yourself a promotion. Now you're the editor-in-chief, where you have this assistant delivering you a rough draft pretty quickly, and it's your job to direct them on the strategy to win. And so that's ultimately your job here. And that's what we call it boss mode, because ultimately you are the boss and Jarvis is your assistant. And the better boss that you are, the better words that you, contacts that you give it up above. If you don't give it anything up above, Jarvis isn't going to be a good assistant. You didn't onboard him correctly to learn about your client. So make sure you give him good intro. Then you need to direct Jarvis in the path that you want to go. Is this a top of funnel article or bottom of funnel article? Should you include a personal story or anecdote at this point in time? When do you need to put reviews? That is your job at a strategic level on how to write your content. Let Jarvis do some of the dirty work here and actually writing it out, but you should be directing it, asking the right questions. So
yeah, this is where it gets exciting. I mean, look at all, so right off the bat at the top, which I love from Surfer, we can see we have 55 words in the article so far, but we need at least 1,200, right? So any site you come across with these outdated 500 word posts, I can tell you most of the time, every time I've run a surfer, use this, what we're doing right now, it's at least 1,000 words. So like right off the bat, 500 word posts, they're not going to cut it. So the opportunity is insane. And so now he can just look here at all the keywords that it's telling him should be in this article, like body contouring. And it's saying it needs to be used 5 to 9 times, but it has been used 0 times. So I'm assuming, Austin, you can just pop over there and say, hey, Jarvis, we need to include something about body contouring specifically.
Write a sentence about body contouring.
Okay, so Jarvis is thinking. Okay, boom. Body contouring is the process of reshaping the body via removal or addition to help create a more sculpted look. There may be more reasons wanting to change undesirable attributes, but look on the left-hand side. Body contouring now shows 1 out of 5 to 9.
Yep.
Exactly. So now, I mean, that's amazing, right? So now you're on the way. So you need, okay, great. I need to tell Jarvis to work this in a couple more times. But it becomes like this puzzle. It's actually really fun writing content using tools like this, because it's like a game. You have to it's like a game with a cheat sheet, right? Because it's giving you what you need to do, but you still have to puzzle it together. And without Jarvis, as someone who's written a lot of articles this way, it's a real challenge. Like it's hard to figure out how to make all these words work in a piece. So to have Jarvis is like a superpower, really. Because like you said, man, end of the day, when you're out of coffee and you sit down to do this because you have to get it done, it's tough.
Totally. And look here already, like we've grown to like 33 out of 100. So
we started at 5 before you just did that. It was at 5.
Yeah. Well, it also is because as soon as I clicked over here, it started to read this information.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But yeah, so I mean, we're on our way, and having a very clear goal like this and like knowing the path to get here is include this.
Mm-hmm.
Any 5th grader could figure this out, right? So, at this point, like maybe you want to add, why should I choose ultra shape? I think it's a good time for a story. So let's talk about a creative story. And,
oh, this is beautiful, right? So Jane has been struggling with her weight since she had children.
Since she's had children, what else about her?
Her self-esteem has been low. She's doesn't have, this is so sad. I don't know. This is a bad example, but like, yeah.
And then she found Austin Med Spa and, wanted to try out Ultra Shape.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's go for it.
Jane has been insecure about her body and scared to do invasive procedures, but then she found Austin Med Spa that does a non-invasive procedure called Ultra Shape. All right. So you see how we're just kind of putting some context here. Mm-hmm. Maybe this is like a real review that you want to pull in and you want to give some flavor to that review. Now, that's tone of voice is inspiring. All right. So Jarvis has been taught in this skill how to write creative stories. What makes them emotionally compelling and all the aspects of a good story. So now we're coming up. We ask it to create 5 little stories here. I don't know. I'm just reading this random one. Jane walked into the Austin Med Spa, was greeted by a woman who made her feel at home. She was struggling with her weight for years because she had 2 children. She felt like she needed to do something drastic, but didn't want to go through invasive procedures. Then she found about Ultrascape, a non-invasive procedure that's been around for over 10 years in Europe. The process entailed ultrasound device that emits energy waves to break up fat cells so they can be more metabolized by your body. Jane signed up immediately without hearing about it and couldn't be happier. Now it's working so far. Bam. Mic drop.
The one below is great as well. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. And you might want to be like, maybe if you're afraid of invasive procedures, then maybe you should meet Jane. Let me tell you her story. And that's a great intro to a Facebook ad that's in the nurturing sequence or an email campaign. I want you to think like this is really a canvas for you to use. There's so many ways for this AI to help grow your company and create content for you. And I mean, honestly, each one of these, if you're really only selling like one product, think about if you just had a blog post, like these 6 steps, and then you had that trickle out over the 6 social media posts. Like each one of these should be a tweet or a Facebook post. So just think about.
Well, the other thing I want to put in people's minds is, oh, sorry, I think my internet blipped out for a second. The other thing I wanted to mention is it's not just about blog posts, right? Like the Ultrascape page on the website, like I guarantee you, if you click back to it, I think you still have it open. It looked pretty skimpy to me. Right. Yeah. So there's like, I don't know, how many words do you think that is on that page? Not many.
Totally.
Like that whole thing could probably be revamped by what we're doing now. Same thing, optimize it for SEO. And now this page itself has a much better chance of ranking. So, don't think it's just for blog posts, but web pages. We talked about long-term nurture content for like email drips, things like that. It's really, I could just see this as such a huge time saver for a writer. And I wouldn't be intimidated if I were a writer. I would be excited. Like this is, like you said, I'm the director in this play and Jarvis is just going to here to do my dirty work that I don't feel like doing.
I mean, how many times, listener, have you said to yourself, like, I'm ready to be a CEO of my agency or of my team. I'm ready to be a leader. Like this is the kind of tools that can help you become that. If you were ever afraid of like hiring other writers or, you still want to be involved in the process. You didn't want to get too disconnected because like the agency is your baby, then, you can use a tool like this without having to always outsource it. And now you're still involved, but you're moving so much faster. So I kind of view it like the typewriter, going from writing by hand by writing with typewriter. Like it's that level of jump in productivity.
That's amazing. So, I mean, I don't want to keep you forever. We're about to hit the hour mark here, Austin, but tell me just in general, like as a company, how have you guys grown? Because I'm assuming if this works the way that, after seeing that, I think it's pretty obvious that it works. You guys must be doing really well.
Yeah. The company's grown a ton this year. Fortunate to have started it in January. And
it's that new?
Yeah, we started in January. So, we're coming up on a year now. But yeah, about, 40,000 subscribers, which is sweet. Very happy reviews. So if you go to Trustpilot or G2 or Capterra, it's nearly all 5-star reviews. It's like 4.99, which is sweet.
Well, the other thing I was surprised to learn about, sorry to cut you off, was that this isn't your guys' first rodeo, right? I didn't know that you guys had also built several other products that most people have probably heard of.
Yeah. Before this, we also grew a company called Proof, useproof.com. And so that's still active. It's still the leading, social proof tool in the market, and supports tens of thousands of customers. And before that, membership. So we had basically a marketing membership where we helped thousands of entrepreneurs write better Facebook ads, write better emails and funnels. And we had all these swipe files that our members got access to, mostly for agencies, actually. So you might have remembered that if you were ever growing your agency back in like 2016, 17, 18. It was called the Entrepreneur Alliance. And so, yeah, I mean, our road's longer than just Jarvis, but this is definitely like our Mona Lisa so
That's
far.
awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on, man. I do want to reiterate that you guys have a special deal for the HighLevel community, which
Yeah.
thank you very much. And that's at what was the URL again?
Yeah, Jarvis.ai/HighLevel, and you'll be able to get free 10,000 words. So I know you all want to get your hands on it and see if it's actually as good as the hype says. So go see for yourself.
Awesome. Austin, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you guys for watching. We will see you in the next one.